Cyberpunk patch 2.01 is out in the wild, and with it there comes a slew of much needed fixes and performance improvements. But CDPR also held its Phantom Liberty investor conference today, and there were some spicy news about upcoming content like a new Cyberpunk live action project and information on all games that are currently in various stages of development. In this video, we'll take a look at all the latest information on Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty and Project Orion, recent sales numbers, future Witcher projects, and of course the patch notes for update 2.01. As always, feel free to use the timestamps provided in the video description, and if you enjoy this video, please show some support by giving it a thumbs up. If you want more content on all things Cyberpunk from me, consider subscribing to the channel, and by hitting that bell notification, you'll make sure to never miss a future video. But let's jump right into this one. Phantom Liberty was released a week and a couple of days ago, and already we got our first patch for it, and it was a much needed one. Not only are there many quest specific fixes for blocking bugs, but also some PC and console specific ones, with the latter receiving a very important fix. But let's start at the top. As always, feel free to check out the sources in the video description if you want to read through the notes for yourself. But first, we've got some Phantom Liberty fixes for the quests Balls to the Wall, Dog Eat Dog and Firestarter. If you got stuck in one of these, that should be fixed, and also a glitch with which you could earn multiple relic points. The side quest Moving Heat got some fixes for issues that could cause all traffic to disappear. The final missions, Somewhat Damaged and The Killing Moon, got some very important fixes that should resolve some blockers. The sniper mission You Know My Name got a fix for a progress blocker, and Reed will dress accordingly to the occasion afterwards. And now this is a big one that I know caused many to stop playing the game entirely. During the main mission Automatic Love, the relic distortion effect became permanent when the player chose a specific dialogue option, making the game experience absolutely annoying to the point it got unplayable. This should be fixed, along with a problem in the mission Ghost Town if the game was saved at a specific point before update 2.0. Various gigs got fixes too, so if you were stuck at one of these, you should probably check them out again. The mission Killing in the Name got another big fix, as it was possible to block clue scanning if the player left the quest unfinished, which of course then prevented the player of completing many other quests. Playing for Time and Space Oddity got some fixes, and also the big quest The Heist received some updates for issues that could prevent players from progressing. The next bug is one I experienced myself, the side job The Prophet Song, where you could talk to the NPC Gary outside of Misty's esoteric shop, could cause the police to never react to your crimes again. Essentially, I wasn't able to get into any 5-star chases with the police at all. Very frustrating to say the least, but it seems they fixed it. The Ripper Dog quest also got a fix. Jackie would return to the noodle stand and refuse to drive if the player would get into the car on the passenger seat. Another one which plagued me since vanilla Cyberpunk 2077 apparently got fixed. NCPD scanner hustles could remain uncompleted even after looting the necessary containers. And we've got two more big fixes for the open world. They fixed an issue where some iconic weapons wouldn't appear on the wall of the stash in V's apartment, so you should now be able to complete the collections in your stash. And they also lowered the value of the attribute check required to enter the area where the thermal katana errata can be looted in the quest area of Disaster Piece, which should make it easier for a lot of players to acquire the iconic katana. Next up are gameplay related fixes, and I'm quoting, "Made it possible to properly switch to arm cyberware by cycling through weapons. Finally. Addressed an issue that could cause V to become invulnerable to all damage. A wrecked NCPD cruiser without wheels won't be patrolling the streets of Night City anymore." And honestly, I think this is kinda sad. I really love those memes for that burned NCPD car roaming the streets of Night City. Fixed an issue where some obsolete mods in the inventory and stash weren't properly exchanged for a new weapon mod. Fixed an issue where weapons obtained pre-update 2.0 could have a tier that's too high when compared to the player's level. removed various obsolete crafting specs, and disassembling a budget arms slaughtermatic will now give one crafting component. Next we've got some PC specific changes, fixed an issue where the UI could show controller inputs when playing on keyboard and mouse. The next one is a big one for many. Players unable to get achievements due to an issue that prevented Phantom Liberty achievements from unlocking on PC before a backend fix implemented on the day of the release will have them retroactively unlocked on GOG and Steam after loading a save from that playthrough. For the Epic Game Store, although, the issue is still under investigation. Fixed an issue where, after installing Update 2.0 but not the expansion on GOG, a pop-up saying Phantom Liberty downloaded, please return to the main menu to access new content, could appear in the in-game menu. Improved the image quality of DLSS ray reconstruction in the ultra performance setting. And there are only 2 console-specific fixes, but the first one is huge and I'm happy they fixed it so quickly. Addressed the issue of corrupted saves on PlayStation by increasing the maximum save file size limit. But then they add a note, this won't fix saves corrupted before the update. So at least you will be able to continue playing the game and saving again, but progress of corrupted save files will be lost. And they also fixed an issue where launching the game without an internet connection would prompt the player to log into GOG My Rewards again. And then there are several miscellaneous fixes for the game, some of which are really great. Various crash fixes on PC and consoles, and of course, performance improvements are always welcome. I know many of you have complained about the vehicle radio volume. It now has been adjusted so it's no longer too quiet compared to other sounds in the game. If you've turned down the volume of other sounds in order to better hear the radio, you may want to readjust the volume before you continue playing. They also added missing sounds for the Basilisk. They fixed an issue where the player could earn an infinite score in Trauma Drama by shooting at enemies dropping from a helicopter repeatedly. So no more cheesing that specific arcade game. Growl FM and Darkstar websites will now be visible when playing without Phantom Liberty, and they fixed an issue where disconnecting the internet didn't result in an error message being displayed in My Rewards and Cross Progression tabs. The song History by Gazelle Twin and Trash Generation will now be disabled when the Disable Copyrighted Music option is turned on. And I say thank you for that on behalf of every content creator currently playing Cyberpunk 2077. Fixed an issue where hair didn't cast shadows when ray tracing was enabled, and this is great. But what many of you will really appreciate is that players who pre-ordered Phantom Liberty but didn't get their pre-order bonus, the Quadra Sport R7 Vigilante, will now receive it. Better late than never, I'd say. And then there were several improvements and changes made to Ukrainian localization, including fixes for lines where the translation lost its original meaning. And that's it for the patch notes. I think for a week of fixing, this is a pretty good update. I know that the game still has more problems that need resolving, but I'm confident that CDPR is up to the task and will continue to improve the game at least for a few more patches down the road. Let me know in the comments if one of your problems was solved or if you still have some ongoing issues with the game. Curious to hear what's bugging you or what got fixed. But let's move on to the conference meeting where CDPR staff talked about the development and launch of Phantom Liberty, its early success and how Update 2.0 and the expansion turned things around for Cyberpunk and what we can expect for the franchise in the future. So first of all, the game and the expansion was very well received by the press and also the players, which of course is very good to hear in regards of the catastrophic launch in 2020. Steam recommendations for the base game are through the roof at an awesome 90%, and the recent reviews, but also the all-time reviews on Steam are now sitting at very positive. I have to say it makes me very happy that the game finally is shaping up to be what it always should have been. And not only for the minority of players which had really good hardware at the time of its release, but for almost everybody. Press ratings of Phantom Liberty are sitting at high 80s to 90s, which of course is good, and the players' ratings are also very good in the high 80s. Phantom Liberty has sold 3 million copies in its first week alone and the overall sales of Cyberpunk 2077 have exceeded 25 million since launch, which is almost double as fast as The Witcher 3 has achieved these sales numbers. This results in 100 million copies sold across both franchises combined. Currently, the studio has a lot of cool upcoming projects in various development stages, most of them in either a conceptual stage or almost at pre-production. But none of them are ready to be revealed or discussed or even ready enough to share specific dates. As we know, Phantom Liberty will be the first and final expansion for Cyberpunk 2077, as CDPR decided to rather focus on developing a sequel with the codename Orion. The game is not yet in development, not even in the pre-production. It will be developed in the new North America studio, which is currently built in Boston. CDPR as a whole is leaving its proprietary Red Engine behind and is focusing on developing games exclusively on the Unreal Engine 5. The same goes for all upcoming The Witcher games. The Witcher 4, which has the codename Polaris, is in pre-production since May 2022 and will probably not be released before 2025. Geralt will no longer be the face of The Witcher games, so Polaris marks the beginning of a new 3-game saga, therefore confirming The Witcher 5 and 6 later down that road. The development studio The Molasses Flood was acquired by CDPR in late 2021 and is currently working on another The Witcher entry codenamed Sirius. It is a new The Witcher game blending single-player and multiplayer elements into one game that is targeted at a broader audience. Whatever that means is open to speculation, although it being a mobile game was already dismissed. Currently, a remake for the original The Witcher is also in development. It will be rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5 using the same toolset as The Witcher 4. But it is confirmed that it will arrive after The Witcher 4, so it is at least 3 years away, if not even longer. And then there is also codename Hadar. The studio has been developing games for existing properties since the beginning, and Hadar will be their first ever own original IP. Conceptual work has begun in late 2021, but it's safe to assume that this game is still years away. But once again, CDPR lets its investors know that they don't want to be a game development studio exclusively. They want to be, and I quote, popular culture developers. In the recent years, they already have been very successful with shaping their brands on a global scale and selling their products to a broader audience by using many different media. In the case of Cyberpunk, the anime series Edgerunners of course was a huge success and in return drove sales of the game. But also the currently released novel and the in-development board game are building on that foundation. And that is why it's only expected that CDPR, in collaboration with Anonymous Content, are currently working on a live-action project for the Cyberpunk 2077 IP. And honestly, that gets me really excited. I don't know why, but I saw some people on social media expecting this to be a movie, but I couldn't find any information on the project actually being a movie. The specific wording was live action project, and I think it's safe to assume that this will be a series, as I truly don't believe a movie will be able to tell such a rich story worthy of Night City and CDPR's characters. You wouldn't need the screen time of an actual series. But that's just my 2 cents on that topic. What do you think? Movie or series? Let me know in the comments. But that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, show some love and let me know what you think about it. In the meantime, I wish you all an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.